All right. What's going on, people? Salute, salute. I hope y'all can hear me. So, just so happened, I don't know what made me talk about this subject right here. I don't know how I came across it, but I came across it, and I can't believe what I'm hearing. Okay, yeah, let me turn that off. So we are definitely gonna go through this show that we're about to watch, which is called the Morgan, Pierce Morgan, and it's about I care about freedom of speech. Hold on, let me go ahead and let me turn it down right quick. I want y'all to this and tell me what y'all think about this. And it's quite disturbing. You know what I'm saying? It's very disturbing. I care about freedom of speech, Pierce Morgan versus racist. So this was podcast about 10 months ago. It happened 10 months ago. Now, I want to go back. I want to start right here. Now, this lady here is a whole trip. I forgot this lady name. Let me just start it over. So, yeah, let me just start over because I want y'all to really pay attention to this, what we're about to listen to. And look, I'm not singling out people, but talking about, I want to say it. I'm not scared to say what I want to say. I'm just trying to say, appropriate way. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about my melanated people. You understand what I'm saying? I'm definitely reaching, I'm not reaching, but wanting y'all to really listen of what's really going on and how this social media is allowed. It is what it is, man. Hey, people like mess, but this was really being ignored because I believe if melanated people really listen to podcasts like this, different debates and stuff like instead of just watching some rapper ready to which one gonna go to jail, which one gonna get knocked out. We listen to bullshit all day. But I mean we can expect that. But we don't realize what's the bigger picture, what's really going on, why we're not even suppressed, but we really suppressing ourselves, you know. And and I'm not a victim. I you know, when I'm speaking to y'all, I'm speaking to myself as well because I've been there, done that. So let's just keep it real, you know. And the reason why I identify with this subject because I was always a part of this, especially being melanated. I don't like to say we black. Shout out to my Mexicans, man, my Latinos, man. I love y'all, man, but y'all really took our skin color, man. Y'all say y'all brown, cause I'm definitely not black. My skin color is brown. It's not black, but shout out to y'all. But anyway, I want y'all to listen to you. I don't want to get, stick to the subject. But check this out, man. And first, I hold on. I gotta put this on subscriber mode because we're definitely trying to rebuild over here. You know what I'm saying? And I would like for y'all to participate. And I want to be able to, gain more. Okay, which one I need to go to? Hold on, guys. don't know why. Hold on. Okay, I can do it over here. There it is. That is. Anyone subscribe? So now we got it on subscriber mode. So if you want to participate in the chat, you know what I'm saying, while we live, you know what I'm saying, those who might catch this live later, you know, you don't have to do that. Please hit the like button, you know what I'm saying. But for those who want to voice their opinion in the chat, you have to subscribe and please hit the like button. But if you want, you don't have to hit the like button, but you definitely have to subscribe if you want to voice your opinion in the chat. So let's start this right here, man. And this is a whole trip, man. So this is what we're gonna listen to. Pierce Morgan on the topic on freedom of speech. Man, the topic was a racist woman called a 5-year-old child. Not only she was 5 and melanated, you know, she was they call us African Americans. She was also artistic, you know, like not she was you know, she was artistic. And she was 5. And the subject was on, you know, this is, that's crazy, you know, this is still here. This, you know, racism, not only racism, but racism against a 5-year-old artistic child. This is what we not paying attention to. You know, we want to pay attention to bullshit. So this is what but it got derailed when this lady tried to derail, you know, she was like, it was more so on a white unity is, you know, she, you know, they were saying she was racist, you know, but and it was a problem. The problem was she called the N-word. Well, she shouldn't get it was like she shouldn't get, you know, banned or whatever, punished for calling the child the N-word. She has the right to voice her opinion, but she even though she was wrong, you know, because she was 5, you know, but just because she's white, she doesn't mean she, you know, she can't say the N-word. You know, they making it like, you know, and you even got this white rapper. I can't think of his name. He called himself the white N-word. And boy, I tell you, you know, it came out, you know, it's crazy. We're going to talk about that later too. Yeah, we're going to address that. But so let me just play.
On which she wrote, "I called the kid out for what he was." Incredibly, that campaign has now raised more money than the first one, surpassing $655,000 at the time of taping the show. Well, the boss of the website, Give, Send, Go, is accused of facilitating brazen racism on a platform whose motto is money.
Tribalism and hostility is just simply not sustainable in such a diverse democracy like America. I think it's, you know, one is really a reaction to the other. I think both campaigns are really hideous, and I think we're showing our ugliest colors. I mean, in the scheme of things, these are small sums relative to the population of America, but you do see, I think, a really tremendous explosion of ugliness and racial hostility that I think that we should all be ashamed and embarrassed of.
Yeah, I mean, you described it, I think, in one of your posts as genuinely, is this a psyop? This would be the best $1 million invested by foreign.
And that's not white people, you know, black people, white people, Spanish, Asian. We talking about all nations of people. We should be ashamed of ourselves for being racist, you know. I mean, all we done went through, you know. We going through World War III, for Christ's sakes, you know. This racism stuff is just, it's fucking ridiculous. Excuse my language, YouTube, but it's ridiculous. You don't, racism. It's like, I feel like if it wasn't racism, the human race would be so much far advanced, you know. I mean, we'd probably be on top of aliens, you know. You know, but my thing is, you know, I'm sorry. Let me just play.
Adversary to start a race war in America. And I knew exactly what you were getting at, because many of them, both of these funding pages, because people were quite obviously deliberately misusing them to post race baiting commentary.
Like a manifestation of white supremacy, and it seems to be just a fight at a track meet that has nothing to do with racial hostility in the first place. And the poor father of this young man who died too said, please don't make this into a racial issue. And yet on his own Give Sand Go campaign, there are comments after comment saying this is White Lives Matter, we're avenging against Carmelo Anthony's family. I mean, on all ends, this is ugly. I think that it's really co-opting the charity and giving community. I mean, I feel bad for the fundraising platforms, because I don't think this was the intention originally. But unfortunately, I think that people are really starting to take over good intents and the charity industrial complex to make it into a victim industrial.
Now, the second guy who you see, the Habib, you know, I don't mean to call him Habib. I guess that's being racist. But wait till you listen to him. And Habib is not an N-word, it's not a bad word. I mean, that's actual factual real name. And Habib, it can be black or just you being from that country. You understand what I'm saying? If anything, we probably not inherit, but gave birth to the name. You know, because before any other race, even the white science can tell you the first was you figure it out. Go to your white science and tell it what race was here first. So I don't have to tell you. You figure that out. They gonna, a person that don't want to tell you gonna tell you Neanderthal man or whatever. Anyway, we don't have that DNA, especially anyway. You know, they can trace back to Nubians, you know, as far as I'm concerned.
Complex, and it's really sad to see.
Well, we're going to have one of the founders of the Give Send Go site a little later in the program. But Mark Lamont Hill, you were shaking your head there. I mean, what's your take on this?
There are a couple of things that were said that I think are really interesting and important. One, there is an outside audience of people who are watching all of this and opportunistically using it for their own agendas and projects. You know, I have an investment in Believing X, so I'm going to jump in the comments of this GoFundMe, etc. I have an investment in Y, I'm going to do the same thing. But what I don't want to do is compare these two things as if they're opposite sides of the same coin. For me, right, the intention of the campaign matters. In the case of this woman who is using the N-word, the woman isn't disputing using the N-word. The woman isn't disputing being racist. And the comments that are being left on the site before they were suspended and the attitudes behind it weren't saying she's being railroaded, she's being misrepresented. They were simply saying,
let me say this. I'm not even, to me, like, I'm not really mad of the racist lady using the N-word. It's the fact that she's attacking a 5-year-old autistic child. Okay, let's remove the color. She ain't nuts. She don't got no skin color. Let's just say she's just a little girl. We don't even know what color she is. Let's just put the mind on the fact she's a little girl. And you got this grown ass, stupid ass woman attacking this 5-year-old autistic child. Not breathing that. So it's not even the fact of her using the N-word. It's the fact that this bitch is crazy. First of all, why would you, what this child, she's 5. She's, never mind, she's artistic. She's 5 years old. Like what? Hold on. And it's not even your child. Like you have no blood. Let me.
Support racism. And I think that's disgusting, no matter who's doing it. On the other hand, the people who are fundraising for Carmelo Anthony, the argument here isn't, yeah, we did something and we don't care, like the other woman. The argument is we're being misrepresented here. We're being railroaded. This was a self-defense claim. This is not an act of violence. This isn't first-degree murder. I'm saying what they're saying. This isn't my argument. They're saying this is a first-degree murder claim that is wrong. This is actually self-defense, and we need the money to make sure that we get a fair trial. I think
absolutely.
So whether you agree with his argument or not, I think raising money for a fair trial is different than raising money for a racist.
I mean, I think the common theme between the two, and this is not to pass any view about it at this stage, although I have strong views about it, I guess the common theme is that both of them say that as a result of all the publicity, they've been doxxed and had all their personal details put everywhere on social media, which is, of course, the modern scourge which gets involved. And as a result, they've had death threats and they have security issues and they have to move home and so on. You know, I understand that part of the argument. You know, when you're at the center of a firestorm in America and you're not used to
I want to fast forward all this.
It's about her GoFundMe than the one for the person who's been railroaded.
Yeah. Well, Lily Gaddis, you put
I want to fast forward this.
peers. Let's
I want
with anything you just
let's
said.
get to the good
This
stuff.
is a disgusting racist woman who repeatedly spews the N-word, first at a young child, and then at the person taking the video of her, does it with complete impunity, does it numerous times. We are talking about a bona fide, unquestionable racist. So I don't understand why what you've just said to me bears any relation to white unity or anything you've just said. She's just a racist. End, isn't she? You wouldn't dispute
Well,
that.
it's not about her. It's not about her. It's about
Well, it is about her.
people coming together and supporting another white person. And it doesn't matter
Why
what
would you want to
says.
support a white racist?
Because I want to support free speech, and you cannot have free speech in a country.
No,
if you
that's
have-
fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to
All
be
I'm saying, okay. Now I understand. Now this woman right here, she wants to support free speech. Free speech means for everyone. Excuse me. Free speech means for everyone, not for free speech. When you say, but she means free speech for the right race, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it attacks, you know, that's definitely a bad way to jump off free speech by a racist woman. You know, attacking a child. We're not even gonna call her artistic. That remind that a child. So now we know what our young black children go through every day against not. And this is what is being my reason of talking about this, rebuttaling this, is because I really can't believe they actually, you know, allowed, I mean, it needs to be talked about, but for people who, like this lady likes to jump off, you know, her freedom of speech protest by a racist lady using the N-word. That's a very diabolical way to start off your freedom of speech for your white race. You understand what I'm saying? What about that I'm just all I'm saying. Anyway.
For what you say, she is. I mean, would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
You would.
I do, quite frankly.
You use the N word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist, are you?
Some would say I am. I guess according to the ADL, I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, but if you use the N word repeatedly, you are a racist, then, are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, helping white people achieve freedom of.
And you know what? She's taking advantage of this too because she's getting paid. She's getting many views. You know, she didn't basically use a good ass what they call it shock value. You know, she doing it for the money. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know she's doing it for her money, and she's probably being used as a smoke screen. I mean, she just ain't doing this by herself. She's definitely got some people behind her that's definitely pushing this, you know, for her to be this bold, you know. Anyway.
Speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shiloh Hendricks is being attacked on all fronts. They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away. So you were saying, Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. That's a different.
Sorry, just to be clear, you just said to me you use the N word regularly. In what context? Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
So you're an unashamed racist.
No, look at Habib, the second guy.
Well,
now, pay attention to him because he a trip.
I guess so. I don't really care. I mean, why are we not talking about Shiloh Hendricks? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think you've moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no problem with a woman shrieking the N-word repeatedly because you yourself are a despicable racist, and you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying, actually, for most people to have to watch. And shame on you. You're entitled to do it, and I'm entitled to call you despicable.
Well, shame on white people for allowing themselves to be systematically discriminated against in the United States. This is our country. This is a country that should be.
What do you mean your country?
Because I'm white and my.
Well, there are no black people in American history. Is that what you're saying? That they've all just landed in America, invading your white country? Is that your position?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they were brought here technically.
Of course.
Did you understand how dumb you sound?
This is stupid. This is stupid and racist, and at some point we have to ask ourselves, do we want to reward this kind of disgusting behavior by platforming it?
I don't disagree with that. Listen, I didn't know she was going to say that. I don't disagree with you.
No. Yeah. I'm with you. I don't think you knew ahead of time. I'm saying at this moment, someone who's saying technically black people were wrong. No, technically Africans were stolen, enslaved, and they built this country. And the idea that you can justify calling a baby the N-word by saying that white people are losing the country is absurd. It's morally bankrupt, and it's honestly besides the point. I mean, all these are just distractions from the fact that she wants to justify dehumanizing it.
Not only we built this country, now this would might be piss a lot of Native Americans, so-called Native Americans, you know, anyway, that speak Spanish. They gonna be the, you know, Indian that only speak Spanish. They not Mexican. They call it itself a Native American, but they speak Spanish. They don't even speak their own language. Anyway, but they know all the rituals. Not only we built this country, we also built that pyramid in Mexico, as it looks like in Egypt. I like to call the one in Africa, Egypt, the second Egypt. I like to call that the second Egypt because I believe this is the first Egypt and the oldest pyramids. They lie on. If they lied about Christopher Columbus, stuff of America, what makes you think they won't lie about time? By the way, we in year 2026. In Ethiopia, it's 2018. Check it. And they very artistic, very particular, very accurate, authentic about their history. Just a minute ago, It used to be dark at 6 o'clock. Now it's 8 o'clock. It get dark. Damn, is I'm tripping, or is the shift? Anyway, let's keep focused.
Even animalizing a small black child, it's disgusting.
What is it?
Yeah,
I
I
find
never said that. I never said that.
No, you may as well have done because you're just an unashamed
That's the implication of
proud
that's the
racist. Let me
implication
bring in Myron Gaines because you've been smirking and laughing. What's funny about any of this?
Well, I mean, I find it interesting that you guys want to virtue signal and, wag the finger and say she's a racist and everything else like this.
No,
But I
she
find it
admits she's a racist.
Let me
I'm not
finish my
wagging a
point.
finger at anybody.
She's
I don't need to
self-identified
wag.
as a racist.
But Myron, with respect, Myron, I don't need to wag a finger when
she's
somebody
clearly
says,
saying
"Yeah,
she's
I'm
racist.
racist. I use the N word
She's
against black
supporting
people.
the
I don't
girl,
care." That's not
supporting
racist.
Karen,
I'm
for
not
using
wagging
the
any
N-word.
finger. I'm not accusing
That's
anybody.
racist.
She is admitting it proudly.
Oh.
Even you can't defend that, surely.
Everybody is racist to some degree. The reality is, it depends
True.
on. A lot of people want to be politically correct. A lot of people want to sit there and say, "I'm not racist at all." We all have biases. We all have stereotypes. We all make jokes. We all are racist to some degree. Now, how racist you are is a whole other situation. But everyone is racist. That's number one. Next thing I want to say. See, I think the Shiloh Hendrickson Metcalf situation is a microcosm of a much bigger problem, and that bigger problem is what I call systemic organized. And what I mean by this is, for decades.
Now, listen to him. This guy here, he, the Arabic dude. I don't want to. I don't know if he's Indian. I don't want to, because I'm not racist. I look, and he looked just like us. By the way, he just is dark. He just one step away, a shade of being next who he's sitting to right now, the brother. check him out. He a whole trip.
We've had black people literally running around with black supremacy, committing crimes, not getting accountability for their actions, and then they blame the system for it. For example, George Floyd, criminal. Ferguson, criminals. Freddie Gray, criminal. A lot of these people are criminals, and what ends up happening is they challenge the police officer, they get into a physical altercation.
Look at his American flag in the back.
They die, something happens, use of force is utilized, and then they want to cry about the result. When in reality, it's not the police killing black people, it's black people killing black people. And if you want to talk about black on white violence, black people kill white people 2 times as much. And on top of that, most of the shootings in America, a lot of the times, are white people killing, white cops killing other unarmed white men.
You see how he contradicts himself? I mean, maybe if I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but don't that sound like contradicting? I mean, bias. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm a little slow. I'm a little old, but anyway. This is crazy.
So this whole systemic racism or police brutality or, it's all so messed up. The reality is this. Black people have been able to get away with a ridiculous amount of privilege in America for a very long time. They're able to be racist with impunity. They're able to call white people crackers without being challenged back. And quite frankly, white America's had enough of it.
But y'all started it first.
Now, look, am I saying that's awesome? Am I saying that's great? No, but for literally the better part of almost 2 decades since the Obama era, we've had to have BLM and liberalism shoved down our throats. And quite frankly, we're all tired of it.
Right, but just to be clear, you would have no problem with one member of this panel openly saying she uses the N-word at black people with impunity and is proud of being a racist. You have no problem with that?
Check him out.
My worldview on the protection of the First Amendment and
Check
freedom
him
of
out.
speech overrides my personal feelings. She has the right to say
That's
it.
fine.
and I'll
You can support the First Amendment, but you can also have a personal view about what she said.
My feelings are irrelevant. The Constitution is the Constitution. That's what matters.
Oh, that's
And I'm-
fascinating. Hold on. So when it comes to chastising black Americans about their behavior, about calling white people crack,
Now, even though I do believe he's using this amendment, whatever, he does got a point. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. I can't. Does got he gonna say some other shit that's gonna throw you off too in a few minutes. I'm telling you. Habib got a point. I'm not gonna lie. If you really pay attention, because freedom of speech is freedom of speech, but how he's jumping this off and what he don't realize, for us, for melanated people to order to have freedom of speech, we had to go to the Capitol to even, we had to go to master to even the Popeye shit. So we won't get what they call that, riots. When they was, what they went through in the 50s and the 60s, putting water holes and shit all over, because people was running their mouths. That's what that was all about. It wasn't about no crime and stuff like that. It was about, we want the same privileges y'all want. They don't talk about that anymore. They don't like talking about history anymore because they don't want to see what the melanated folks had to go through in order to start talking. Because, by the way, the Democrats was KKK first. And all of a sudden, the black people just laid, to Democrats. I don't understand it. But anyway, I don't vote. Anyway, let me just play.
As you say, about their moral claims about the race system, you can levy a judgment against Black Americans for all the things they do. But when it comes to this woman saying the N-word, and this other woman endorsing it and saying that she herself uses the N-word, now all of a sudden we can only talk about the Constitution and the legal right. We can't offer any moral judgment against it. That's disingenuous. And it's as the only Black American up here, that's quite frustrating to hear.
If you want to be soft and get offended by that, that's your fucking problem, not mine.
Let me ask Ricky.
We're not even.
Let me ask Ricky.
This isn't about being soft any more than when you were desperately saving these white people.
Hold on. This sensitive nature that you have is precisely why we have this problem.
It's not about being sensitive. It's about I didn't articulate. Hold on. Let me finish, Myron. Let me speak and then I'll let you respond. Myron, I didn't articulate any sensitivity here. What I said, in the same way that you levied a judgment against Black people, I'm levying one against the claims you're making. I'm no more sensitive than you were when you made your claim. I'm simply saying I disagree with you. And to immediately jump to you're being sensitive is just a distraction. I'm making an argument here. Just respond to my argument.
If you're struggling with sleepless nights and exhausting days, you might want to try Beam's Dream Powder.
Y'all ain't paying attention to the black dude, man. I'm telling you. Y'all think the black dude weak. He just, using words. He say, because look, okay, I can articulate any sensitivity you talking about. You know what I'm saying? Basically, he called his ass out to the street. Let's fight about it. We could stop talking about it. He said, when he said I can articulate any sensitivity, that means anger, happiness, whatever energy you bring me, I could bring it back. Basically, what he said, he just said it in a white collar, articulate, a way. Well, let's go in. Hold on.
Founded EAM.
You're labeled a racist. The reality is this. Black people don't want to live around black people. I don't want to live around a bunch of black people. I move to neighborhoods where it's majority white because I know I'm safe. Now, this is uncomfortable reality that no one wants to say, so I'll say it for them. Black people commit a lot of crimes. The majority of the violent crime committed in the United States is committed by a small percentage of people, and they tend to be black men. Look, the reality is the reality. People don't want to say it, but the political correctness and being nice and not wanting to tell the truth is precisely this problem. And the reason why you're seeing all the support for Metcalf and Shiloh, etc., is because white people have not been able to step up and say what they want to say for a very long time because of what I said before.
You don't want to live around us or be around us, but man, who cut your hair? You showed you got you got the beard. Where your turban at? Where your kufi? Damn, what's up? You been disowned or something? Because you sure do look like us. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's your beef. Anyway, I'm just talking shit.
Organized, where they don't take accountability for.
All right, let me bring in Ricky to respond. Ricky.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to say that
Ricky.
I agree that virtue signaling went too far, that political correctness went too far, but we're going from virtue signaling being the norm and being praised to now vice signaling being the norm and being praised. It's not just a matter of does this woman have the right to use that word? I believe that she has the right. I disagree with it. But is she now being rewarded with $500,000? Why are we rewarding people for performing vice instead of virtue? This is not healthy. This is destructive to our society. This is destructive to our social fabric, to our culture, to our ability to live with other fellow Americans. It's gross to reward someone for bad behavior. It's one thing to tolerate it, to say that she has the right to do it, but she called an autistic 5-year-old the N-word. Like, I'm sorry, but I feel like we're kind of like missing the point in the actual context. You can say that it's part of this bigger meta story of black and white America, but it actually is just like a short little clip, and you don't even know the context of it, and it's actually gross. And if we can't just say that it's gross and bad, then I don't really know where we are.
Well, I mean, it's interesting to me that Lily Gaddis, you retweeted Nick Fuentes, the white supremacist, by saying he said black people just raised $500,000 for a cold-blooded killer who stabbed a white teenager to death. So I don't want to hear one word about the Shiloh Hendricks fundraiser. Either everyone gets to be tribal or nobody does. Why would you retweet that?
First of all, the young kid was being jumped. Let's forget about the two white boys that was jumping the young melanated brother. Let's forget about them being white. But it was two boys jumping another boy. And might add you, football boys. These are athletics kids, you know. Two athletic kids fighting, you know, but all three of them was athletic, but you got two athletic against another boy. And he pulled out a knife and, basically defended himself. You know. And I don't know how it is over there, where it happened at, but in Texas, if it don't go past that whatever, it's legal. You know, but let's play.
Because I agree with it. We have to fight fire with fire. I mean, at some point, why are
Nobody does.
Why are Jewish people allowed to be tribal? Why are black people allowed to be tribal? But as soon as white people stand up for themselves, we're labeled a racist. And by the way, you call people racist when you want them to stop talking about
No, I called you a racist because you admitted you were racist. Hang on. I called, just to be clear, I called you a racist because you openly...
See, this, and then this what she don't realize. Y'all allowed us to be tribal in the country you stole. Okay, so what do you mean when y'all stop? Y'all already put a stamp on this bitch. What more do you want? You run this motherfucker. You run the money. You take money. You steal money. You run countries. You bomb countries. Wow. And y'all want to be tribal. The fuck? Who wrote, didn't y'all write the freedom? Didn't y'all write the Constitution? Independence? Y'all renamed the whole country? The fuck? You see this the stupidity that's coming out this woman's mouth?
proudly admitted you're a racist. So it wasn't a question of exposing you or pointing my finger or trying to get this out of you. You proudly sat there, bold as brass, and said, yeah, I use the N-word all the time against black people. I'm a racist and I'm proud of it. That's what you did.
Racism is just having a preference. I prefer not to live around black people. I prefer not to live in a country where white people in our country are disproportionately attacked by black people. Where in my country, you can have an Austin Metcalf where he asked a guy to leave and he gets stabbed in the heart. I prefer that. That's a preference. Now, what a real racist is, in my opinion, is seeing someone as less human. I'm a Christian. I believe everyone's created in God's image. So I don't see anyone as less human. But that doesn't mean I'm not allowed to have a preference and say, I don't like what happens to be coming out of this community or that community. How is that a bad thing? How is that not just a preference?
Because you've literally made black people sound lesser humans. You don't want to live around them. You want to use the N word in relation to them, a word that you know causes that community unbelievable
Is that my
offense.
fault? Is that my fault? If they have bad behavior, if they want to act in a certain way, if I have to cross the street and be afraid that maybe because of the crime statistics that are very real, by the way, is that my fault or is that their fault for having bad behavior?
And I totally understand. I know it sounds crazy, even though this woman just got to talk some shit, but you got to look at the reality. Nobody wants to be in a place where it's danger. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you from Texas, I'm from Texas, Houston. Now nobody wants to go live in Vidor, Texas, Orange County, Dickinson, Santa Fe, with all them goddamn KKKs, damn fools. The motorcycle ride, you got to be careful over there. Even the white people acting, it's white on white crime over there. Damn fools. Don't let them forget about the Mexicans. Shout out to my Mexicans. They got it going down. They popping their shit over there with the white folks too. You know, so it's just like you could tell this woman that's talking, she act like she ain't never been out her neighborhood or something. She just like, what world she live in? You know what I'm saying? That what I like to call that targeting, because you act like we the problem. We don't have ships bringing loads of coke over here. We don't have ships bringing loads of fentanyl over here. Okay? Okay? We came from minerals of gold, oil. Go ask your scientists and say what nation of people was here first. I'll let y'all go figure that out. Anyway.
That's mind-boggling to me for multiple reasons. I mean, we're talking about bad behavior. You know, we've never lynched you. We've never enslaved you.
Let's go.
Done any of the deep-seated structural forms of injustice to white people that white people have done to black people, and yet to claim some kind of moral superiority in the midst of, and again, in the context of a conversation where a white woman is calling a 5-year-old autistic.
Now you see how he came back. You see how he came back. Like, what do you mean behavior? We never enslaved you. We never hung you. We never stole your what you created, your inventions. We never put y'all in cotton fields and breeding plantation and lynching, hanging. Y'all said y'all brought us over here, huh? Like, that's what y'all came over here and did. Like, y'all started this shit. Y'all are the father of lynching. Is I'm wrong or am I right? And that's not being racist. That's being real history. Why you think they trying to take away black history? Because they don't want y'all to know what really happened. I remember an Indian man told me, you know, it's only 8% of black people here, right? When they brought over here during that time of slavery, it was only 8%, right? That's what they say. Now, they say they only brought 8% over here. They say they brought it. Now, they say they only brought 8% over here, right? Now, this coming from a Native American man that looked like a Mexican, talking to Louis Farrakhan. Peep game. He said they brought 8% of Africans over here, right? Now, they brought 8% when it was already a large percentage of melanated people over here before. He said a lot of them, they classified them as Africans. He said a lot of them weren't even Africans. Most of them was Indians. Now that's what pissed a lot of Native Americans off that look like Mexicans, that speak Mexican, Spanish, but they don't speak their Apache language. In fact, they don't even know the language. Their great-great-great-great-great-grandfather might do that's darker than them. But the new generation of Native American Indians speak Spanish. They don't even speak the Indian language. Anyway.
The N-word, and we're talking about black people's bad behavior. This is absurd. And the idea of fighting fire with fire, again, is a dishonest argument. Just to take us back to the point here. The people who are supporting Carmelo Anthony's campaign believe that he was wrongfully charged, and they're trying to get him legal defense. The people who are defending this woman are saying, yes, we know you called the 5-year-old autistic black child the N-word, and we want more of it. We approve of it. We support it. These are not the same thing. And it's bonkers to me that we couldn't all stand and say, hey, it is wrong to call a 5-year-old autistic black child the N-word. I mean, Myron, let me just ask you that question.
Forget about him being a black child, just a child.
Do you think the woman was wrong to do what she did to that child in that part?
Of course.
I don't approve of that, but what I will say is that it's very important to understand the entire context of what led us to this position, because again, Metcalf and Hendricks is a microcosm of a much larger problem. Earlier, we were talking about tribalism when you were mentioning Nick Fuentes' tweet. Here's the thing. Black people could be as tribal.
You heard what this dude said, bro? This the point what pissed me off right there. Y'all go watch the period. For those who want to go, see more of this, please go to the Piers Morgan show. The Piers Morgan. And, shout out to Piers Morgan. I hope you don't strike me. I just wanted to rebuttal. And I appreciate you for bringing this to the forefront, But, just addressing the racism, the stupidity, it's sick. This is crazy. This is what we promoting. This is what they promote. This is what a 5-year-old brothers and sisters, man, y'all better. And it's true. That's why the woman that endorsed the woman of using the N-word to the little child, the beautiful little girl. This is. I mean. She is right to a point, you go out to the white folks' neighborhood, it's, to me, it's just a lot cleaner, because it's really the damn same. I live out here in the suburbs, and they buy more drugs, do more drugs, act more stupid. I'm talking about quick to pull out a gun at the bar. We just had a shooting not too long ago. A white person shot, white on white crime, shot the dude 6 times because it was time to go. It was checkout time. They can't sell no more alcohol. The white boy got mad. He had to leave. He wanted to drink some more, put him out. shoot, came in and shot that man 6 times. Get well, Christopher. You know, that was at, what bar was that? That was Scary Canary off of Highway 6. If you know about it, you know about it. So, I mean, it's the same shit. It just looked cleaner. It's a whole lot of drugs be sold. Boy, they done took it up to, you know, white folks took it up to the next level. They done created meth. Matter of fact, they done created DNT. They done created morphine. Come on, man. But they want to call us dangerous. Got more weapons than them up. But look, shout out to y'all. For those who would catch this show on the back end, please hit the like button, you know. And if you're new, you know, please subscribe and drop a comment and tell me what you think. You know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But I don't think an opinion should be said when a grown-ass woman attacking a 5-year-old child.